ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्रीमेधा दक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धतामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So, namaste once again, everyone. So, Arjuna asked for Vishwarupa Darshanam, and we saw that Vishwarupa Darshanam involves two things. One is the regular eye, Laukika Chakshu, which looks at the world, which is Vishwam, the universe, and we require a special perceptive mind by which the very same Vishwam, the very same universe is seen as the body of the Lord. To see the world, we require ordinary eye. To see the world as the manifestation of the Lord, we require a special attitude, a special preparation of the mind, which, as I said, is a long-drawn process. But it is not something which is impossible. In fact, if we actually reflect on it, right from childhood, some elements of this looking at everything as the Lord has been inculcated in our culture. For example, we discussed about Bhavana Chakshu in the last class. So, as a devotee, how do we get this Bhavana Chakshu? It is something we have gained right from childhood when we visited the temples with our parents. And as a true devotee, whether my prayers have been answered or not, I do not lose the reverence which suddenly comes when I enter a temple, isn't it? And let it be even a roadside temple, or in South India especially, you find, even in Pune I found temples under a tree and all that, some very small temple. But the moment I see a temple, an idol for which the puja etc. are done, my attitude suddenly undergoes a change. I look at the entire structure of the temple as divine. And even if I am not able to see the idol of the Lord, this is very important. I may not be able to see the idol of the Lord from outside, but the moment I see the Gopuram and the temple, my attitude immediately changes. If I am walking across and I have no time to go inside, I've seen many people, this is a very usual practice. They will actually remove their chappal, their footwear, and then do namaskaram and then put it on and go away. Just for 2 seconds. There's a change in attitude suddenly when you look at the temple. And that is why we observe many people, even while driving past a temple, the moment they are in front of the temple for a few moments, their reverence will show up by some physical action, like doing like this or namaste or some such action. Similarly, once we have become aware of the possibility of Vishwarupa Darshanam with Divya Chakshuhu, we should start working towards gaining that special perception of the world, wherein we see everything in the universe as divine. And the preparation needs to start with the study of the 7th, 9th, and 10th chapters as well as performing all the karmas with a karma yoga attitude, engage in upasana, meditation, and also fill the gaps, if any, in our sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Every piece is important. And of course, this preparation process itself needs a lot of sacrifice. Apart from Viveka and Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti is required in abundant measure, especially Titiksha and Uparama. Withdrawal from the material world is very important so that our focus is not diluted. Because there are so many attractions. Now Vasanta Navaratri has started, so there are so many, nice programs are being conducted at so many places. There are very attractive programs, very great artists are performing. Now you say, okay, Bhagavad Gita, what is there? Every week there is a class. But this Vasanta Navaratri comes once in a year. So I will attend some music program or something. In any case, though, the Gita I can always listen later because there is a recording available. If that is the attitude, then the preparation is going to take that much longer. So we must be careful so that our focus on what we want to achieve is not diluted. And that is Uparama, which is a very important withdrawal from the material world. Suppose some guests have come to your house for dinner. You say, oh, guests have come, I have to entertain them. So therefore, I will skip the classes, Vedanta classes today. One should ask, what if I tell the guests that, you see, I am for 1 hour, please excuse me, I have got a class. I will attend that class and then come and join you. Is that difficult? Will there any guest say that, no, 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 nothing doing, I have come all the way, forget all your Vedanta, Shedanta and all that, and let us sit and enjoy. Will any guest, real guest, friendly guest, say that? So we must, every small aspect we must pay attention to. if we are serious. We are not serious, doesn't matter whether you attend the class, don't attend the class. Well, most of the time you are only thinking tomorrow what is the program, next this weekend whom I should invite for for lunch or dinner. If you keep thinking like that, then it doesn't matter. Anyway, all these sadhanas will go a long way in preparing the mind, not only for Vishwarupa Darshanam, but later also for assimilating Brahma Jnanam. And that is why, this 11th chapter is placed very strategically just before the Charama Shatka. Therefore, for going into Nirguna Brahma Jnanam, one needs to imbibe the attitude that everything is Ishvara. And this knowledge should come not merely at the intellectual level, but one should have experienced this truth personally. And that is why, even in Mundaka Upanishad students, we see the same thing. When you have come to the second Mundaka, first sloka talks about Ishvara being Jagat Karanam. So first you learn to see the entire world, the Vishwa, as Ishvara. And then from the second mantra onwards, it goes on with Brahma Jnana. There it is just in one mantra, the whole concept of the 11th chapter is finished. But here, of course, Krishna is teaching Arjuna, who is still a Madhyama Adhikari. He has not become a Uttama Adhikari. Certain things are clear to Arjuna, certain doubts he still has. And therefore, all this sadhana means one needs to be totally rid of ragadveshas and be prepared to accept everything in the universe, good or bad, noble or wicked, pleasant or unpleasant, as manifestation of Ishvara alone. And therefore, Vishwadarshanam should be converted into Vishwarupa Darshanam, Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshanam. And for this, I require a changed attitude, which is not only the appropriate knowledge that Lord alone manifests as the creation. No doubt, of course, that knowledge is required. A cognitive factor is involved. But in addition to this cognitive factor, that is this understanding or knowledge, there should be purity of mind also. And how do we get purity of the mind? A mind free from raga dvesha, a mind free from kama krodha, a mind which is free from ahankara and mamakara. And therefore, a pure mind plus an enlightened intellect, both put together, is called Divya Chakshu. And if that Divya Chakshu is there, behind the Mamsa Chakshu, the fleshy physical eyes, when they combine together, I will be able to look at the entire prapancha, the entire world as Ishvara. So now, in this sloka, the last sloka number 8, which we were seeing in the last class, Krishna says, Divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogam aishwaram. So Arjuna is going to be blessed with this Divya Chakshu. So this temporarily giving Divya Chakshu is a process. Now you have to imagine, there is a silence because Krishna is blessing Arjuna with Divya Chakshu. it will require Krishna invoking some mantras and all probably. All these details are all one's own imagination. If it is a TV program, they will show Krishna's hand, and from Krishna's hand, one flame will emerge, and it will directly go into the face of Arjuna, and there will be some change in the face, brighten the face. There will be a lot of background music, which they use in climax scenes, etc. Because something miraculous and mysterious is taking place. And also, they will show Arjuna's face, going round and round and round and round to acquire the divine eye, etc. They will use so many camera tricks and all. But of course, this is not a TV program. It is Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter. It is live between Krishna and Arjuna, and therefore there is a profound silence. And we can imagine, as I said, that the silence represents Krishna gathering his yogic powers to bless Arjuna with Divya Chakshu. So Krishna does not speak, and Arjuna is also silent. And such silence can sometimes be very awkward for some people. Because suddenly, there was a lot of activity and silence. And therefore, what happens? Sanjaya, who has been witnessing all these things and briefing Dhritarashtra right from the first chapter, first shloka onwards, narrates what is happening at that time. So now Sanjaya, as the Sutradhar, steps in. We will read the 9th shloka. Already? No answer.
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
Thank you.
Yes, Guruji.
I thought everybody has switched off. Okay. Sanjaya Uvacha
Sanjaya Uvacha
Evamuktvā tato Rajan
Evamukta tato Rajan
Mahayogeshvaro Harihi
Mahayogeshvaro Harihi
Darshayamasa Parthaya
Darshayamasa Parthaya
Paramam Rupamaishwaram.
Paramam Rupamaishwaram.
So the Anvaya is Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya Uvacha Uktva evam Harihi Mahayoga Ishwaraha Tataha Darshayamasa Paramam Aishwaram Rupam Parthaya He Rajan. Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya said, Uktva evam, having spoken thus, Harihi, Sri Krishna, Mahayoga Ishwaraha, the great Lord of all powers, Tataha, thereafter, Darshayamasa, revealed, Paramam Aishwaram Rupam, the supreme divine form, Parthaya, to Arjuna, Hey Rajan, O King. So Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Krishna, the great Lord of all powers, thereafter revealed the supreme divine form to Arjuna, O King. So Sanjaya describes what happened during those silent moments. Sanjaya Uvacha, Hey Rajan. And as we know, Sanjaya is live streaming the entire Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra. So here he is talking to Dhritarashtra. He says, O King Dhritarashtra, Harihi Uktva Evam. Lord Krishna, who is none other than Lord Vishnu, the Vishwarupa Ishwara. For that Vishnu, he uses the word Harihi and not Krishna. to indicate that he is none other than Lord Vishnu himself. He is avatara of Vishnu. And not only that, the word Harihi is also a very significant word. That's why we say Harihi Om. There is a sloka which explains what this word Harihi means. Harir harati papani dushtachittairapi smritaha anichaya api samprishtaha dahatyeva hi pavakaha. A very beautiful sloka. Haraha papani harati. Sorry, Harihi papani harati. Lord Vishnu is called Hari. The name comes from the verbal root hru. Hru means to suck, to absorb, to withdraw. So Harihi withdraws all the papams from the devotee's mind. And as we have seen, papams are caused by impurities. So if I do not see the divinity in front of me, only I have to remove the timiram, cataract, ajnana timiram, ragadvesha timiram, and hand it over to Lord Vishnu to absorb. And therefore he is called Harihi. What type of Vishnu he is? He is Mahayogeshwara, the one who has got great powers of purification. And as I said, normally this purification is a very long drawn process. It requires years of karma yoga, it requires years of Panchamaha Yajna to refine the mind. But Lord Krishna, being a Lord of miraculous powers, what could be achieved by elaborate and time-consuming strenuous sadhanas by us? Lord Krishna simply removed the impurities in one stroke. Like, these days cataract surgery takes place. Well, once upon a time, this cataract surgery was a big process. It required hospitalization. Then after the surgery also, you have to stay in the hospital for a couple of days. The surgery itself was very subtle and therefore required a lot of care. But nowadays, we have this laser treatment. Patient is in and out after the surgery in 15 minutes. But as I said, Krishna is purifying Arjuna's mind using his miraculous powers. Is only a temporary gift given. So laser surgeries could be much longer lasting. So it is, though it is a sort of as though example, we can't directly draw conclusion from laser surgery example. Where here, this Divya Chakshu given to Arjuna is only a temporary thing, temporary gift. And the idea is to show the value of Antakarana Shuddhi, the benefit of Antakarana Shuddhi, purity of the mind. And therefore, Sanjaya says, Mahayogeshwaro Harihi Eva Muktva. Eva Muktva. Krishna addressed Arjuna in this fashion, in this manner. As in the manner as said in the previous verse. And what did he say in the previous verse? Laukika Chakshu is not enough. You require Divya Chakshu, which is mental purity. And having said that, Paramam Rupam Aishwaram Darshayamasa. Therefore, the Lord Krishna showed this Vishwarupam. So, Aishwaram Rupam means the body the form of the Lord. Aishwaram means Ishwarasya idam Aishwaram, belonging to Bhagavan. So Aishwaram Rupam, Ishwara Rupam Darshaya Masa. Darshaya Masa means he showed. And what type of Ishwara Rupam? Paramam. His greatest Rupam. And why does he say Vishwarupam is greatest? Because all other Rupams are finite in nature. Whether it is Rama Rupam, Krishna Rupam, Devi Rupam, Ganesha Rupam, all these Rupams, they are all finite. And all of them are mutually exclusive also. If Rama Rupam comes, Krishna Rupam has to disappear. If Krishna Rupam comes, Ganesha Rupam has to disappear. So they are all finite. They are mutually exclusive. And moreover, they are all subject to arrival and departure. And this is what is Ramakrishnadi Devata Rupa. Whereas this Vishwarupa is the most unique one. Because it is all pervading. And secondly, it need not exclude any form. Vishwarupa includes Rama Rupam, includes Krishna Rupam, and all the possible Rupams are included in Vishwarupam. And therefore, it is all inclusive. And finally, Vishwarupam is not subject to arrival and departure because all the time it is right in front of me. And that is why even in Sandhya Vandana, we learn and practice, Prachye Dishe Namaha, Dakshinaye Dishe Namaha, Pratiche Dishe Namaha, Udiche Dishe Namaha, Urdhvaya Namaha, Adharaya Namaha, Antarikshaya Namaha, Bhumyai Namaha, Vishnave Namaha, Mrityave Namaha. Namaskaram to the east, Namaskaram to the north, Namaskaram to the west, Namaskaram to the south. Namaskaram to the above, Urdhvaya Namaha. Namaskaram to the below, Adharaya Namaha. Namaskaram to Yama. So, why do we do Namaskaram in all directions? Because in other religions, Lord may be located in one place, as they call it in Jannat or heaven or whatever it is. And therefore, everything should be looking at that direction. All your prayers, and if you want to look at the Lord, two things you have to do. One, you have to look up, only up, because Lord is somewhere above in the heaven, up. And in one particular direction. Different religions will, of course, have different directions. But that is not the case with our culture. For us, Lord is in every direction, up, below, everywhere there is Lord. What all I see is, oh Lord alone. That is the attitude. And this is the training we are given right from a very young age, In fact, if you look at it, all our trainings are meant for seeing the world itself as God. This is the culmination in Vyavaharika Ishwara Darshanam, not Paramarthikam. Vyavaharika Ishwara Darshanam in the relative appreciation of the Lord. That is the orientation of our culture. Therefore, Paramam Ishwaram Rupam Darshayamasa. To Parthaya. Parthaya means Arjunaya. So here, Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra that having promised Arjuna that Krishna will give him the Divya Chakshu, Krishna blesses Arjuna with Divya Chakshu and reveals his Vishwarupam. Now we will take the next two slokas together. Okay. Because a description of how Arjuna is seeing, how the Vishwarupam is seen by Sanjaya, and he is narrating it to Dasharatha. Sorry, Dhritarashtra. Sorry. So, Aneka Vaktra Nayanam.
Aneka Vaktra Nayanam.
All have gone for Vishwarupa Darshanam or what? Aneka Vaktra Nayanam.
Aneka Vaktra Nayanam.
Anekadbhuta Darshanam.
Anekadbhuta Darshanam.
Aneka Divyabharanam.
Aneka Divyabharanam.
Divyanekodhyatayudham.
Divyanekodhyatayudham.
Divyamalyam Bharadaram.
Divyamalyam Bharadaram.
Divyagandhanulepanam.
Divyagandhanulepanam.
Sarvascharyamayam devam.
Sarvascharyamayam devam.
Anantam Vishwatomukham.
Ananto Vishwatomukham.
So the combined anvaya of these two slokas is Devam Anantam Vishwatomukham Aneka Vaktranayanam Anekad Bhuda Darshanam Anekya Divyabharanam Divyanekodhyatayudham Divyamalyam Bharadaram Divyagandhanulepanam Sarvascharyamayam. Devam Anantam, the brilliant, limitless. So we have to understand now Krishna is revealing the universal cosmic form. Vishwato Mukham, with faces in all directions. Aneka Vaktranayanam, with many mouths and eyes. Anekad Bhuda Darshanam, with very wonderful sights. Aneka Divya Bharanam, with many divine ornaments. Divyaneko Dhyatayudham, wielding many divine weapons. Divyamalyam Bharadaram, wearing divine garlands and garments. Divyagandhanulepanam, anointed with divine perfumes. Sarvascharyamayam, full of wonders. So Krishna revealed the brilliant, limitless cosmic form with faces in all directions, with many mouths and eyes, with many wonderful sights, with many divine ornaments, wielding many weapons, wearing divine garlands and garments, anointed with divine perfumes and full of wonders. Now, when we read these kind of slokas, we should not think that this is some kind of a dhyana sloka for Vishwarupa Darshan. Because in Vishnu Sahasranama and all also, the dhyana slokas are all description of Mahavishnu lying in the ocean of milk, all those, with all that garland and Bhakshastalam. So many descriptions are there. We must not think these are all some dhyana slokas. So before I have Vishwarupa Darshanam, I should, visualize Vishnu in this dhyana sloka. No. We have come away from all these individual gods. We have come to Vishwarupa. So we must remember that always. So from these slokas, we get Sanjaya's description of Vishwarupa. And from this, we also come to know that Sanjaya is also getting Vishwarupa Darshanam. Because as I said, Mahabharata war is being live streamed for Sanjaya to report to Dhritarashtra. So Arjuna was witnessing personally, and for Sanjaya it was like a telecast. It is like watching a T20 match in a stadium and watching it on TV. That's a huge difference, whatever said and done. The atmosphere, the electric atmosphere in the stadium is a totally different experience. Of course, it has got a lot of problems also. The crowd, the noise, one may come back with a headache, fever, a different thing. But many people go there only for that purpose. And you sit at home, see it on the TV. It's a totally different experience. So Sanjaya is only reporting what he is seeing. He starts by describing the cosmic form as Devam Anantam. Devam brilliant, Anantam limitless. Brilliant because all lights belong to the cosmic form of the Lord. You can imagine the brilliance when all lights of all luminary bodies come together. And of course, Sanjaya, cannot see the end of the cosmic form. As he moves his eyes from one corner to another corner of the screen, the form doesn't seem to have an end at all. And therefore he says Anantam, limitless, whose limit cannot be seen at all. And even now, we do not know the limit of the cosmos. In the last class, I told you, if you have a puff of dust of 1 meter diameter, each grain of dust is equal to one galaxy. So there are billions of galaxies, and each galaxy having billions of stars. The scientists say that even now, they do not know the outside limit of the universe. And not only that, they say the universe is expanding. So when it is expanding, how can you see the limit? And as such, what is existing itself, we do not know. And over and above that, they say it is expanding. In fact, they say that the stars are all receding, means going away from one another. And the more distant they are, the faster they are going. Each star is getting farther and farther away from the other star. Just imagine, no? If each star gets farther and farther away from other stars, where is the limit of the universe? And that's what we say. We see in Purusha Suktam. Padosya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadasya Divi Tripadurdva Udait Purusha Padosya Bhavat Punah. He says what we see is only a quarter of the entire universe, cosmos, which is the body of the Lord. 3/4 we cannot see. Tripad Urdhva Udait Purusha, that is all above. Above our perception, beyond our perception. So the limitless universe occupies only an insignificant part of Vishwarupa. And even this limitless universe itself is in Bhagavan's one corner. Then what should be the size of Bhagavan? Anantam, limitless, both space-wise and time-wise. And being limitless, the form is Vishwatomukham, facing all directions, omnidirectional, multi-directional faces the Lord has got. Because there are people, there are jivas with faces facing, which are facing in all the directions. Vishwatomukham. Now, what is the Vishwarupa of the Lord? Is nothing but all jivas, non-jivas, all chara, achara put together is what Vishwarupam, isn't it? So brilliant, limitless, and facing all directions means what? Wherever we see, we can only see the form of the Lord, the Vishwarupa Ishwara. Then he goes on to describe the individual parts of this cosmic body. He starts with the face and says, Aneka Vaktra Nayanam. Aneka means countless we can take. Vaktra means mouth. Vaktra. Nayanam eyes. Or Vaktra we can even take as a face rather. So countless faces with countless mouths and countless pairs of eyes. Now, what does it mean? Is the cosmic form something like Ravana, who had 10 heads? So similarly, cosmic Lord has got countless heads and countless mouths, etc. Does it mean that his eyes are all sticking all over? But if mouths are all over, how can eyes be all over? So many, issues will be there. Therefore, we should not imagine a form with countless eyes and ears. It means all the heads, all the mouths, and all the eyes. Rather than all facial parts of all living beings in the world belong to the Lord alone. They are as though the Lord's heads, Lord's faces, Lord's eyes, etc. in his cosmic form. And therefore, we cannot claim our mouth to be ours. If we say that it reflects ahankara, when there is no individual separate from totality, where is the question of my head, my mouth, my stomach, etc.? It is like, there is no Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Maharashtra, etc. separate from India. There is no wave separate from the ocean. There is no Vyashti separate from Samashti. And that's why, in Hindi, there is a beautiful song. तन मन धन सब कुछ तेरा, तेरा तुझको अर्पण क्या ला गई मेरा. Such beautiful lines reflecting karma yoga attitude. Of course, only if these words are backed by the heart, backed by bhavana. Because normally all these, are prayer songs sung during Arati and all that. In fact, if bhavana is there, there is no need for all these words even. But if you have words without the heart behind, then it will be an arati in a temple where all the time you will be thinking of what prasad you are going to get. Today is Tuesday, Hanuman temple, I will get those sweet bundis, something like that, Anyway, the message to Arjuna and to all of us rather is to learn to see all the mouths of all people as the mouth of the Lord, as Bhagavan's mouths, all the eyes as Bhagavan's eyes. And then Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam. Adbhutam means wonders. Aneka Adbhutam means innumerable wonders, countless wonders, not just 7 wonders or 14 wonders and all like they have a list. There are innumerable wonders. All of them are Bhagavan's wonders. They belong to the Lord. Everything is a wonder. I mean, you just take the case of a flower. The texture of the petal is a wonder. That the flower has got a very, very tiny bit of honey is a wonder. And that a bee only can take out that honey through the process is a wonder. And it can take that honey and go and save it in a beehive is a wonder. Just imagine, I mean, all you require is just imagination to see all the wonders. Now, all these wonders we cannot replicate it, or human beings cannot replicate it. We may produce artificial flowers, put some artificial perfume. No bee will come near it. If a bee comes, it will only come to sting us. So, we just have to look at the Vishwarupa and look at the wonders of Ishvara. Then Aneka Divya Bharanam. Lord is wearing countless ornaments. What does it mean? Again, we must not imagine, as I said in the beginning of this, it's some dhyana sloka and all. Should not imagine something like the cosmic Lord is decked with ornaments all over. Like one, Bollywood music director was there, Bappi Lahiri. I don't know how many kilos of gold ornaments were there, especially neck. I used to wonder whether this fellow is running the risk of getting spondylitis because of this all heavy
Weight.
sorry, weight, yeah. Therefore, Aneka Abharanam means any ornament which anyone is wearing is Bhagavan's Abharanam. If I say it is your Abharanam, then it would be Laukika Abharanam. Then if I look upon it as Bhagavan's Abharanam, it is Divya Abharanam. Again, a matter of attitude and perspective. Therefore, Aneka Divya Bharanam. And that's why in our culture, when we buy some ornament or anything new like a car or a two-wheeler, why even the monthly salary we bring home, we will first place it at the feet of the Lord. We don't need to go to a temple. There's a small altar in our house. We'll light a lamp and place it and pray that everything should be fine, with this purchase. Even the food we cook, we offer to the Lord before we consume it. A new car or two-wheeler we buy, we take it to a temple and do a puja. And every day before we start the vehicle, we will offer our prayers and thanks to Bhagavan. So we dedicate everything first to the Lord. And what is our attitude in doing so? Our attitude is, oh Lord, all these things belong to you. I am only using them temporarily, like taking an apartment on lease, which will be returned with thanks to the landlord. And therefore, Bhagavan is the overall landlord of all possessions, all wealth in the cosmos. And therefore, all ornaments are his ornaments. Then Divya Aneka Udhyata Ayudham. And the Lord is with hundreds or rather countless weapons held in the raised hand. So here also we should understand, we should not imagine the Lord with thousands of hands hanging and in each one there is one weapon like knife, sword, etc. The Lord is standing like that, like Vishwarupa is portrayed in the photos or paintings, etc. In fact, Vishnu Sahasranamam students, if you are there, I think some of you are there. If you remember the poster which I used to display at the beginning of the class, that had that Vishwarupa form. There's so many faces, different faces, and lot of weapons and things like that. And we must not imagine Vishwarupa like that. That was okay for Vishnu Sahasranama. Now we have come to Bhagavad Gita. And 11th chapter, Vishwarupa Darshanam. So we must not imagine those things. Of course, in photos and paintings, they have no other choice. They want to present Vishwarupa, they have to present it in that manner only. Rather. Visually, that is what they have to do. But we should not be misguided and we should not have such misconceived notions going by such photos. So how do you imagine Bhagavan with countless weapons, and more importantly, why Sanjaya mentions weapons here? Because the whole Gita discourse is taking place in the battleground rather, the battlefield. And not in any temple or lecture hall where you have got books, pens and other things. In a battlefield, Sanjaya can only see weapons and weapons everywhere. Remember, first chapter, 7 Akshaunis of Pandavas and 11 Akshaunis of Kauravas. And each of the warriors have come with Nana Shastra Praharana hai, Sarve Yuddha Visharada hai. Each one has come with different weapons, and all those weapons belong to whom? Again, Vishwarupa, Ishvara only. And therefore, Aneka Udhyata. Udhyata means raised weapon. That weapon is not just kept, right? Bow and arrow raised. Now, how do they become divine weapon? Because any weapon is destructive, isn't it? How can it become divine weapon? Even an atom bomb can become a divine weapon because of two reasons. One reason is since the weapon is in the hand of a person, it is a laukika weapon. But when I see the very same weapon as the Lord's weapon, it becomes divine. So the difference between divine and not divine is association with the Lord. Like the Laddu Prasada example we saw. Therefore, a secular thing becomes sacred only when it is associated with the Lord. If I see that everything belongs to the Lord, then I do not have anything secular at all. For a Vishwarupa Bhakta, there is no secular thing. Secular here, I don't mean in the sense of the Constitution of India. There, the secular definition is totally different. Here, secular means non-divine. So, for a Vishwarupa Bhakta, Sarvam Sacred Mayam. This is one reason. And the second reason is All weapons are divyam because they are meant for dharma sanrakshakam. As we saw in the 4th chapter, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So the moment a weapon is associated with dharma, it is associated with the Lord because dharma hai eva ishvara hai. That's why we say Ramo Vigravan Dharma hai. Puja Swamiji used to say often that Bhagavan is in the form of the order in the creation, harmony in the creation. Therefore, any weapon for dharma is a divine weapon. And that's why, we see all individual gods are all portrayed in photos with weapons in their hands. They are all meant for protecting dharma. So with such weapons, Vishwarupa Ishvara is giving darshanam. There's one minor grammar point for Sanskrit students. In all these verses, the verb is not given. So these are all adjectives which are the description of Aishwaram Rupam, which comes in the 9th verse, 2nd line. There the noun Vishwarupam is given. So all these verses now in Sloka 10 and 11, they are adjectives that Vishwarupa. Therefore, Divya Malyam Bharadaram Vishwarupam. Divya Gandhanulepanam Vishwarupam. That is how we have to understand, we have to read. And what is the verb? Darshayamasa. Lord Krishna showed to Arjuna. That is how grammatically we have to connect all these words. And here also you should note, when we say Lord Krishna showed to Arjuna, it creates a confusion. Because it appears as though Vishwarupa was not there before and somewhere in the background, and after Divya Chakshu, Vishwarupa is brought forward. That is not how it is to be understood. The Lord showed Vishwarupa means Bhagavan removed the obstacles for the appreciation of the universe as divine. That bhavana, if you have, the obstacle is gone. Which means what was seen as secular earlier is now seen as sacred. And therefore, it implies an attitudinal change. There is no physical event taking place. Vishwarupa Darshanam is not a physical event. It is an event of attitudinal change and consequent perspective change. Nothing is happening outside. So now, we will, I think it's time up. We'll continue in the next class. Next description is Divya Malam Bharadaram. We will continue from the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Dhanyavada. Thank you all very much.
धन्यवाद हरि ओम
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Very nice.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Hari Om.
Guruji,
Yeah.
थैंक यू गुरुजी
if
Thank
Sanjay
you.
was
Sorry.
if Sanjay was continuously narrating as a live telecast to the king Dhritarashtra, so Dhritarashtra would have definitely understood the power of Krishna,
Yeah.
and he didn't make any attempt to call a truce.
No, we'll come to that later, it will come. Because so much blinded by his mamakara towards his son.
Mm, mm.
See, that is why this ahankara and mamakara, why they are called impurity? But they blind you to the even what is dharma, what is righteous, what one should do. You will end up doing all wrong things. We see that, pratyaksha, we see if it's a
True, true.
politician's son, he does some crime, what happens? The law takes its own course. What happens? And
Then
that
when you
course is a
mentioned,
20-year course or a 30-year course. The law
no,
takes.
when you mentioned about the atom bomb or the nuclear weapon, in the hands of a divine power, it is different.
Yes.
But when it goes into the hands of rogues, that's what is
Exactly the same thing.
that is
See,
the fear today in Iran.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So today, where is divinity? All rogues only,
Correct, correct.
One rogue here, one rogue there, one rogue there. Everybody, all rogues are fighting with each other. So that is what is happening. So anyhow, Dhritarashtra doesn't change. In fact,
Mm,
if only Dhritarashtra has realized this,
correct.
that this is a war which this Duryodhana cannot win. So let us work a way out of this war. If we had told Duryodhana one word, Duryodhana, it's okay, give them 5 villages. After all, this war was all about land only, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, only about land. So give them what they want. Don't give them the Simhasan. Give them what they want, what Krishna offered them. If Dhritarashtra had said that, Duryodhana would have certainly listened to that. And in which event, both Bhishma and Drona also would have supported that resolution. They would have said, yes, 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 what Dhritarashtra is saying is correct, that is Dharma. Now they are in a dilemma. They are sitting on the Dharma side, knowing fully well what is Dharma because of their loyalties. Or again, the same thing. Ahankara and Mamakara and, all these kind of false loyalties, ignoring Dharma.
Dhritarashtra always called Krishna as a Mayavi.
Yeah, he called that's the
Not,
way he justified.
yeah. So he
Dhritarashtra tried to justify. He knew
never
he knew
Lord.
exactly. Dhritarashtra knew what was there, but because he was blinded by his mamakara, he had to find a reason to justify. So he used to call him Mayavi. He's a magician. Krishna is a magician. All these are nothing miraculous is there. He is a magician who does all these things. That is what Dhritarashtra used to profess.
So even this Divya Darshana must be a Maya for him.
It's all Maya for him. And that is why Sanjaya is trying his level best because Sanjaya realizes.
Correct.
So he tries his level best to time and again, whenever Sanjaya comes into the picture, he will try to impress upon Dhritarashtra that here we are dealing with Krishna, who is a divine, who is a Vishnu form. But, Dhritarashtra, that's why Dhritarashtra character is shown as blind, physically blind. That is a symbolic representation of Dhritarashtra. That he is blind to everything, all dharmic things he is blind to that.
Correct.
That is how, symbolically it is shown. And the funniest thing is, his normally, if in a house, if a husband does something wrong, it is the Dharma Patni, that's why she is called Dharma Patni. She will correct him. She will say, what you are doing is not correct. This is the right thing. So he will get a good advice from his wife. Because in our culture, the ladies of the house are upholders of Dharma. They are the ones who have to, because they know that entire future generations, successful future generations depend upon a dharmic living only. Yeah, a man may do certain things, adopt shortcuts for some immediate benefit, but a woman will always think long term. So she will advise that you should not do it. In the case of Dhritarashtra, unfortunately, he didn't have that luck also. Because Kunti, again, blinded by that husband worship business, she also put up, patti on her eyes. And said, since my husband cannot see, I also don't want to see. Not Kunti, sorry.
Gandhari.
Gandhari. Not Kunti, Gandhari.
In
Yeah.
Tamil, they say pen buddhi, pin buddhi.
Yes.
It is not pin buddhi. It is not pin. It is she is thinking what is going to come later.
Exactly.
That is the meaning of pin buddhi.
Yeah, pin buddhi means what is going to happen later on, they can think about.
Future.
That is the real meaning of that pin buddhi means. Pinna enna varapordo adu theriyum avalukku.
Correct.
Buddhi. So, but then the male shamanism, they have converted this into like a pin means backward also is there,
True.
So the buddhi of a woman is a backward buddhi. That's how they try to tease the women.
But when the time is bad, no advice will go to anybody's head.
That is true. All that I am talking in the context of reasonable, a person who is otherwise dharmic, but sometimes, that dharma temporarily blinds the mind.
Correct.
So that time, if there is somebody, many times it happens also, we are in a hostel, depressed. Some friends come and give some good advice.
Correct.
Suppose we have failed in some papers. We are depressed. We say, no, what is there? Yeah, there's nothing big to do. Next time you take, 80 KT is there and things like that and all, you will come out with. Immediately, somebody is there to correct us and then we'll come out of it, So that is why this husband and wife relationship in our culture is a totally different relationship, which no other culture people can actually understand what is this relationship.
Correct.
And that is why the husband, valued the wife's contribution. The wife valued the husband's company, and they lived together 50 years, 75 years together, rather, till their death does them apart. They live together harmoniously, rather. This kind of an attitude, this kind of a culture, you will not find anywhere else.
True.
So all these things we have to appreciate about our culture. And that is the beauty, rather, and that is the strength of the culture.
True.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you. Namaskaram. Any other question, comment? No hands are going up, so we'll close and meet in the next class. Okay. Hari Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.